Let me be the friend who leans in and tells you this. If your goal is to be in all areas of your life, absolutely perfectly, flawlessly, and performing equally, and all those areas are incredibly fruitful, it's a lie, sister. Okay, breathe easy, exhale, and know you haven't even failed and you aren't failing because it's not a thing. It's not a thing. And I talk about this a lot in my book that, all the things you've seen from the outside, me accomplishing these goals. So many of you first met me when I quit my job live online in front of 10,000 people and, left corporate America and branched into my own business. And since then, you've seen me add all the income streams and add all the babies and do all these things. And I have to tell you that, the truth is, I got really out of balance. Oh, I can feel the tears starting to well up. I didn't do any of these things with balance. And I've never been someone who said that I was in balance. My blood pressure was 173 over 153 when I knew that I had to change my life drastically and alter the way I was doing business. If that's not a sign that you are out of balance, I don't know what is. I'd managed to grow really, really well in certain areas. My business was thriving. My professional life was thriving. My kids were thriving. And I felt good about how I was showing up in the world, but I knew there was more I could do in a different way. My marriage wasn't doing great, but that wasn't necessarily solely due to my professional things. It just kind of always had that as an overtone. But when I tell you, none of that had to do with perfect balance. So here's the plot twist. I'm going to tell you, kind of spoiler alert, what it really is about. It's about perfect presence. I just want to shift your perspective. This language that you hear all the time around aiming for perfect balance is not real. It's not helpful. It's not grace-filled, and it's not a authentic goal to strive for if you are someone who is trying to succeed professionally. Heck, if you're someone who is trying to just take care of your babies and also drink your water, moisturize your face, and have a snack here and there, if you're aiming for perfect balance, you will miss the mark every time. What I would love to see you shift to is perfect presence. Now, knowing that you will be imperfect, that's real life. But if the goal is perfect presence, which I'll explain to you in detail, you have something far more attainable that you can actually aim for. So this is what perfect presence looks like. I always love to use this example. We're all going to juggle a lot of balls in our life, right? We have to become masterful jugglers. But I want you to get really great at identifying which of these balls are made out of rubber and which of these balls are made out of glass. So here's an example of how I've identified that in my life. Rubber balls are things like carpool pickup. If I pick up my little one, or if the Mr. fella, my guy, Alex, picks up the little one, not really something that's a make or break in my relationship with my tiny, right? She's not going to remember every single pickup over the course of hundreds of pickups during her schooling career, right? It's a rubber ball. So if I miss one, I can bounce back from that. You picking up what I'm laying down? But there are glass balls. Glass balls are also being juggled with the rubber ones. And glass balls look like things like, did I make it to her first school play? The week that she started middle school, did I decide to travel on that date? Or did I decide to be home to make sure I was supporting her? So I'm going to use a real transparent moment. As someone who is solely responsible for my babies and is, I'm great. The Mr. Fella's here all the time and is supporting us. But, it's just me. I'm primary parent. And what that means is when she was going into sixth grade, for the mamas out there listening and for the women who remember middle school, it's crazy. You think you kind of know what you're going into. You have first day of school excitement, but there's so much happening. There are bigger people in the school, lots of emotions, lots of feels. And that is exactly what occurred. I knew she was going into something new and that my job as a mother was to make myself available to her. I didn't know what I was preparing for, but I knew I needed to be present just in case anything came up.